European green transition, EGT, is focused on acquiring, integrating and optimising revenue generating and profitable services businesses in the critical infrastructure sector across the UK and Ireland, with a particular focus currently on onshore wind. EGT have just provided a second quarter operational update which shows the company is making solid progress in its growth strategy for the business. I'm joined today by Jack Kelly, Chief Financial Officer of EGT. Thanks for joining me, Jack.
Thanks, Darren.
So, Jack, a very strong second quarter performance with all meaningful KPIs having improved from quarter one. Can you summarise these for listeners, please?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Darren. And look, we're very, very happy with the operational update we put out. The team across the wind energy service business have really done very well over Q2 and continued the strong momentum. And they've managed to sign 10 new repowering heads of terms over that period, bringing us to a total number of 65. In addition, of those heads of terms, we've got 5 new planning approvals through the planning in Q2. So that brings that total to 30 projects through planning, which again is great. More importantly, 7 new project commencements and deposits received in Q2, which is showing we're starting to actually deliver these projects and start generating some revenue from them. And then 5 of the repowering projects completed, bringing a total to 8 repowering projects completed by the company to date.
Okay. So let's talk about repowering, which seems to be the current growth engine of the business. What is that and why is it important to EGT?
Yeah, so repowering is really important to EGT. Essentially, it's taking down an older turbine and putting up a more efficient turbine in its place that generates significantly more revenue for the turbine owner. There's been a sort of significant change in government policy in the UK over the last couple of years. Previously, there was a de facto ban on onshore wind, and since that's been lifted, we've seen significant growth in repowering. And you know, the exciting thing here is that it's using the existing grid infrastructure in place, so it can be done really quickly, and it can make significant difference in the revenue generating capacity for the turbine owners.
Okay. And in terms of the future opportunity with repowering then, is this something that can scale from within your existing customer base and perhaps beyond? I mean, I think you've mentioned up to 280 qualified repowering projects, but I'm just thinking, could you also, could this number be larger? Could you, potentially look at taking some competitor business, or is 280 more than enough than you need right now?
Yeah, I think the answer is both there. I think 280 it's a pretty sizable market. I think we've quantified it at about 126 million revenue opportunity, which is very exciting. Obviously, we've 65 heads of terms at the moment, and out of these 280, we think they're all really well qualified leads. They're typically high power users themselves. So think farmers, small industrial factories, supermarkets, etc. We've been they've been customers for a long time, so they really trust us. And with everything that's going on in the world, the price of energy getting very expensive, the option for them to invest a reasonable sum of money now, but to really get energy security for the next 8, 10, 15 years is really attractive for them. So yeah, we're working hard to, I suppose, get those 280 qualified leads and get as many of them through to signed heads of terms as possible.
Okay, fantastic. Also, as the company's mentioned before, there appears to be significant cost synergies between some of the distinct businesses that you acquired, Earthmill, Silverford, WEP. I think you've mentioned this before. How are you getting on with integrating these businesses so that you can further streamline the overall operating costs and obviously increase margins?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a key focus. I think previously they were run essentially as standalone businesses, which I don't think was the optimal way to do it. So we've commenced that integration process. I suppose as a good example, we had one of the offices, was able to very quickly provide a generator for the other office to
Okay.
help them win a pretty good job a couple of months ago. So it's that level, I suppose, sharing insights, sharing services, sharing staff that we're seeing, will make the operation more efficient and ultimately more profitable.
Yeah, so it could come down to staff, procurement, logistics, all of that.
Exactly.
They're very similar, as you say. So yeah, that's interesting. Okay, what other aspects of the business are you looking at in terms of achieving further growth? So, I know you recently announced that you've increased your stake in Anomos, which is the AI-powered predictive monitoring software. And that's currently used in wind turbines, but I believe it has other potential applications as well. I think Cathal even said on a previous interview with myself that and he's quite excited about Anomos and that it could actually potentially be spun out as another business at some point. Are you actively sort of looking, progressing that part of the business?
Yeah, so look, I'm taking a key role in really trying to drive Animos forward.
Mm,
I think a key theme we're seeing amongst asset owners at the moment is asset life extension. So we talk about repowering as a significant opportunity for a number of clients, and it definitely is, and that's why we're really focusing on that. But there's a number of sites, people who have turbines, where repowering isn't necessarily a viable option. This could be due to planning, due to wind speeds, etc. And a number of these sites are really looking to extend the useful life of these assets. So, typically people would 15, 20, 25 years would be the life of for turbines. Now that
mm,
interest rates have increased quite significantly from where they were over the last 10 or 15 years, it's a lot more expensive to take down an old machine and put in a shiny new one. And so what we're seeing from a lot of people is they're looking to extend the useful life of that turbine. So this is exciting for us in terms of we're doing a number of large component changes. But as people are looking to sweat the assets, that's where we see Animos really, really fitting in with a lot of asset owners, with a lot of O&M players, as they're looking to get this predictive maintenance using the AI functionality of Animos, really to see problems before they happen and before
yeah.
before human eye can identify them. So we're having a lot of positive, I suppose, progress with Anomos. I think we said in our recent release, it's now installed on 133 turbines, which I think,
Okay.
gi- given the business is only running sort of 14, 15 months, is pretty good progress. But look, we're looking to continue that, expand that even further, and then look to get into other sectors. I think we've mentioned hydro before, we've mentioned shipping, and this is really a key focus
Mm.
for what we're trying to do with Animas.
Yeah, I find it really interesting. I mean, obviously for the wind turbine customers, knowing that something could be about to go bang, and fixing that before it does and replacing a component could be the difference between the whole turbine coming out of operation and then having to be replaced and costing them a fortune. So it sounds like very interesting.
Exactly, and I think a huge sort of limitation for people is getting, it's similar with with a car, right? If you need a part,
Mm.
it can be difficult. There's lead times to these things. It could be, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 2 months. Whereas, if that means that your turbine isn't spinning, if you're using it for your business,
Yeah, yeah,
you're all of a sudden buying all your energy off the grid, which is a lot more expensive than having it free from a turbine. So these are material issues, and it's really a risk mitigation play, that people can, if they know that there needs to be maintenance on their turbine, they can plan it, they can have everything lined up, and it really can mitigate and reduce the amount of downtime for a turbine.
yeah. As an investor myself, I'm very excited about the fact that this could have other applications. I don't know exactly what those applications are yet, but knowing what Animos does, in terms of things like I think I even been able to analyze the state of the oil in the engine or whatever part of the lubrication mechanism. It just could be, a very big thing. I mean, the market, the sky could be the limit. But yeah, it's very interesting. I could talk for ages about it, but I guess we'll have to move on. Okay, so changing tack slightly, the overall company strategy is to acquire revenue generating businesses, of which you have done already, and it looks to be a good acquisition. Are the company actively looking at any additional opportunities at the moment that could bring further growth to EGT, or are you very much focused on the current acquisitions, or maybe a bit of both?
Yeah, look, I think it's a bit of both, really.
Yeah.
We see there's a huge opportunity with across Earthmill and the wind energy services business, and we're really trying to capitalize on that. But we're also being opportunistic and keeping our eye out for nice small bolt-ons that would really complement Earthmill, all focused on service-based businesses into infrastructure assets or into real assets. So think your sort of water, energy, grid, electrical, data center space. That's really where the key focus is at the moment. And look, I think we showed in our acquisition of the wind energy services business, we're able to move quick. We're able to spot something that that is a bit of a diamond in the rough, and capitalize on it quickly.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. You've set a medium-term target to achieve 50 million in revenue and double-digit EBITDA. I mean, this is on your presentation. This has been in discussing interviews and what have you. So it's a fairly bold statement. However, it's having seen what's the last quarter, for example, and how you've done there, it looks good. Do you think that this second quarter's performance will contribute to that, and do you think it can still be achievable?
Yeah, no, look, it's definitely still achievable. This is a significant step towards that. I think the numbers from an operational perspective speak for themselves. There's quite a significant pipeline there. We're really building the order book to be delivered over the next number of months and into 2027. So it's still a target we're definitely looking at achieving in the medium term.
Okay, fantastic then. Well, lastly, we've had a strong operational update. Investors will be wondering how that could translate into financial performance. Hopefully it does. When can we expect a trading update?
Yeah, look, we expect to have one in the next couple of weeks, look, we're as we said, that the business has been, from an operating perspective, has been delivering quite well, and the numbers will reflect that.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Well, look, thanks for joining me and updating us, Jack. It appears that strong progress is being made, and we'll look forward to a trading update shortly.
Great. Thanks, Darren.